Welcome. My name is Stacy Boyd. I'm senior editor with Harlequin Desire, and I have the great privilege of working with New York Times and USA Today bestselling author Brenda Jackson. And today I'll be talking to her about Zane, which is the first book in her new Westmoreland trilogy. And I'm hoping we can learn some insight from her about her books and her career. So hi Brenda, and thank you for sitting down with me today.
Thank you, Stacy, for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. So when Zane launches in July, it will be the first book in your first back-to-back trilogy, with the other two books coming out in August and September.
Yeah.
Was it very challenging to write three books so close together? What kind of process did you have for that?
No, in fact, it was not challenging because I get in a mode whenever I write a book, and because I write so many family sagas, it's important for me to be in that family saga mode because I write about the brothers, the cousins, the uncles. So in writing that, because I wrote three books back to back, Zane, Canyon, and Stern, I was able to be in the Westmoreland mode. And when I finished one, I continued the other while I was still in the mode. It was like a continuation of a trilogy, a threesome, where I told three separate stories, but with one family. So it was very easy for me to do.
Oh, that's great. And I know you write the Medeiros family, the Steele family, but Zane is your 25th Westmoreland novel. So that
Wow.
made me curious. How did you come up with the very first idea for the Westmorelands, the Delaney's Desert Chic, and the idea for making the Westmoreland family have at least 25 stories?
Wow. Well, it started out, it was only going to be 5 stories, Delaney and her brothers. And the idea came from my editor at the time, Mavis Allen, and I'm asking her what type of desire novel sells more than anything. Was it the marriage of convenience, the missing baby story? And she said, no, the chic books sell. So as an African American woman, I'm like, wow, that's going to be kind of hard, challenging. But I'm always up for a challenge. So I'm like, I can do it. And so that's when I came up with, after the research, I came up with Jamal, who is the chic in Delaney's Desert Chic. And Delaney had her brothers, Dare, Thorn, Stone, Chase, and Storm, and I knew I was going to write their stories. It was only after the success of their books that I decided to add some more cousins, and so that's how the 25 books came into play.
And you write so many different kinds of characters, the sheiks, the PIs, lawyers, doctors, ranchers. How do you keep them all straight, and how do you know when it's time to write each character's story?
My books are not plot driven, they're character driven. I know my men, I know them, I create them, so I know them. So whenever I write their story, I don't write a story around any particular plot, I write a story about them. I give them an occupation early on in the process, so I know what they do for a living, I know that they like doing that for a living, and then I come up with a plot evolving around their character. So that's how I'm able to keep them straight.
Do you, this is a bonus question, do you know the heroine you're going to pair them with before you think of their story?
And that's the one thing I really don't know. Once in a while I will know, but typically I have no idea who the heroine is going to be. She comes to me when I think about who they are, what type of woman they need, what their quirks, their weaknesses, their strengths, and then I come up with the type of woman I want them to have.
Oh, and I know you have a new family coming up, the Grangers.
Yes.
Which is going to be your first Mira book out
Yes,
in
it
June,
is.
A Brother's Honor. But it was inspired by a secondary character in one of your desire novels. So
Right.
how did you know, like at what point did you know you really wanted to break out that family and make it something bigger?
When the idea of Jace first came to me and the saga of the Grangers, it was going to be a friend of one of the Westmorelands. And then I'm like, no, it has to be a family all its own. I want the Grangers to be their own family because their story is unique. The guys, the brothers are very, very unique, different in personalities. I want this to be a totally new series. And that's when the decision was made. And I'm glad Harlequin agreed with me and decided to give the Grangers their own family saga series.
And you had mentioned to me before that you really just wanted to do 3 brothers.
Yes.
Is it really going to be just 3 brothers?
Right now, and I always say right now, there's only 3. I haven't said anything about cousins, uncles, or anything. It's going to be just 3 brothers, but they may have friends down the road.
Okay. And you and I just finished this week your 100th book, Madeiras Bride for Christmas. And then next month, you're going to have your cruise, which celebrates that achievement as well as your 60th birthday. And I'm just wondering, with appearances like this one at BEA, with your really big fan events and the close relationships you have with your fans, how do you manage to write so many best-selling books?
Writing is relaxation. Some authors look at writing as work. I look at it as my time to relax. My husband relaxed by laying on the couch watching westerns, Gunsmoke, Rifleman, Bonanza. I relax by creating stories about wonderful people, mostly sexy men. And with that, I don't think of writing as work. So what I do, I write every day, 7 days a week. On the weekends, I try to give myself a break from writing, but not writing as much as I do as far as in hours, but I still write every day. I add something to the story every day.
Wow. And you must be a really good time manager too.
Yes, I am.
And maybe you could share with everybody where they can find you in the upcoming weeks for signings and where they can find out more about you.
My website, www.brendajackson.net, has all my events that's listed. It shows you all my books. I'm also on Facebook and I'm on Twitter. And I send out a newsletter every month. And like you said, I'm very close to my readers. We form a relationship. We do a cruise every 2 years. This year, next month, we're going to Alaska, the Madeiras Family Reunion Cruise, and the Westmoreland Family Reunion Cruise.
Very exciting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.